Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne,
I'm Dr. Adam,
counselors in quarantine.
and we are sponsored by our boss, Dr. Lacey Carpillo, Vice President of Student Affairs.
All right, so today we wanted to talk to you about this idea of moving from a victim mindset to an ownership mindset. And we want to talk about the process of what victimization actually is and then what it actually takes to move into a place of greater ownership. Because as humans, whenever we experience victimization, we just want to jump out of that spot because it doesn't feel good, and we want to go into a place of power and control. And so that movement from being a victim to having power, control, and having ownership of one's life, it requires a process that we're going to walk you through today.
Yeah, and so like you talked about, being a victim or being in that victim place, it's really about whenever something is taken from us or done to us, or we experience some type of a rupture in that way that we didn't sign up for, right? Something that we didn't give consent to, and regardless of intent, right? That there's
Right?
some damage that's done there, and yeah, there's a process basically that you move through to get there.
Mhm. Yeah, because when something happens to us that we didn't want or something's taken from us, then there's an automatic loss there. And there's an automatic sense of powerlessness because we didn't choose it. And so it's that combination of like losing something that was important to us and then experiencing the powerlessness around losing it that can just drive us crazy and just make us want to again kind of scurry around for some sense of power and control in our lives. And the important thing whenever we experience any kind of victimization, and we're talking about this because this pandemic has created victimization for lots of people. I mean, lots has been taken from people and they didn't ask for it, like events, special occasions, relationships, people, jobs, security, health, right? On and on and on. And so being able to, name those things that you lost that were taken from you that you didn't sign up to lose, like Adam was saying, and just acknowledge them for what they are and acknowledge they happened to you. That's really, really critical.
Right. Acknowledging the losses and also acknowledging, I guess the second step would be acknowledging your powerlessness in it. I mean, even with other people, to say, I feel victimized, like I'm experiencing these losses and naming that, because we know, as we talked about, and a lot of this is going to, call back to our stuff on grief, but whatever we don't name accurately will get acted out.
Mhm.
And so yeah, first step, naming the experience and what you've lost, and then naming your powerlessness in that place.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And then the third step, it's really important. Again, we say it almost every video that we make, but we've got to grieve. Grieve is actually that pain that heals other pain. And so being able to feel sad, feel mad, again, and acknowledge the reality of your losses in the context in which you lost them. Sometimes we lose things when we cause those losses, right? And if that's the case, you own that. But when things happen to us that, again, we didn't ask for, didn't sign up for, and we are victims to them, then we have to grieve in that place of victimization. And it's a crappy feeling. I mean, a lot of times we feel weak, we feel super vulnerable. And again, we want to escape, we want to, exit out of the grief and go straight to power. And it just doesn't work because, like Adam said, we're just going to act that out.
Right. And so if you're doing steps 1 through 3, then you do move into step 4, which is that place of power, right? It's exploring and kind of figuring out where your power actually lies. And so the reality is we always have power, even when we're in situations that are inescapable. We have internal power, how we think about things, how we move through things. We have choices around that. And then, of course, we have external power sometimes as well, where we can change our situations or change, the people we surround ourselves with. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And so when you're stuck, it's often you're stuck in the places where you don't have power. But once you do those steps 1 through 3, where you're naming, acknowledging, grieving, and letting go, you can actually work with where your power actually lies. Because again, we always have both. We always have power, and there's always going to be stuff that we're powerless over. So in a way, we are always in a perpetrator place and in a victim place, in a powerful place and in a powerlessness place. And so the idea behind what we're talking about is really just being able to name and move through this stuff in a more intentional way.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And remembering that we are powerless always over other people and
Yes.
over situations and circumstances that or exist outside of us. And we always have power, and we can take ownership of ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our own actions, behaviors, values, intentions, all of that.
Yeah.
So hope this was helpful,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope you're able to move from a place of being more of a victim for what you've experienced, even through this pandemic, and into a place of ownership.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.